Okay, so today let's dive into something pretty scary. A scam that really plays on people's fears. Imagine your phone rings
Yeah.
and it's someone claiming to be like a police officer or a government agent,
Yeah.
and they tell you you're in serious trouble, like you're going to get arrested unless you pay him right now. Sounds scary.
It is, and it's more common than you think.
It's called the pay up or be arrested scam. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting how this scam works because it really kind of zeroes in on those like gut reactions you have when you think you might be in trouble with the law.
Right, like you just panic.
Exactly. It just bypasses all rational thought
Yeah.
and, taps right into that fear.
You're not thinking clearly.
Exactly. We're programmed to react quickly when we think we're in danger, and these scammers, they know how to use that to their advantage.
So they create like a sense of urgency, like you got to do this right now.
Yeah, they want you to act without thinking.
So let's bring it down. Like, how does this scam actually play out? So say you're just at home, going about your day, and then
You get this call, or maybe a text, or even an email, totally out of the blue. The person on the other end says they're from some official organization, like the IRS or the police or some government agency, and they sound very official, might even use all the right jargon and everything.
and then they drop the bomb.
Exactly. They hit you with an accusation like you owe back taxes or there's outstanding fines or maybe even like an arrest warrant, something to make you really nervous. And then they emphasize how urgent it is. You have to act right now or there will be serious consequences.
And that's where the pay up part comes in.
Exactly. They demand you pay right away. And usually they want you to use those methods that are hard to trace, like gift cards or cryptocurrency or wire transfers. They might even tell you specifically where to buy the gift cards and how to send the money.
Wait, so you're telling me people actually fall for this? Like they'll use gift cards to pay legal fees? It just seems so shady.
You would think so, right? But remember, they're trying to get you when you're stressed and scared. And when you're in that state of mind, it's harder to think clearly.
Right, so it's like they're using fear and urgency to keep you from thinking straight.
Exactly.
So it's really important to be aware of the warning signs.
Absolutely.
Like, what are some of the red flags?
Well, let's start with that initial contact.
Okay, so if I get like a random call or text saying I'm in legal trouble, that should be a big warning sign, right?
Totally. Most legitimate authorities, they'll contact you through formal mail. That gives you time to really think about it and verify the information.
They're not going to just spring it on you over the phone.
Nope.
Okay, so unexpected contact from someone claiming to be an authority, that's red flag number one. What else should we watch out for?
The payment method. Think about it. Government agencies and legitimate businesses, they don't operate like that. They have established procedures and they offer different ways to pay. And they're never going to demand payment with gift cards.
Yeah, like we're the government and we only accept payment in Starbucks gift cards.
Exactly. That's a huge sign that something's wrong.
So that pressure to pay immediately, and with these untraceable methods, red flag number two.
Exactly. They don't want you to have time to think clearly or to ask for help. They want you to make a quick decision based on fear.
Wow, it's pretty messed up. What other tricks do they use?
The threats themselves. Think about it. Would a real law enforcement officer threaten you with arrest over the phone before even confirming who you are or giving you a chance to explain? They have procedures to follow.
Right, so if they're like, pay up or we're sending the SWAT team, that's probably a scam.
Most likely. It's all about scaring you into doing what they want.
So we've got three big red flags now. Unsolicited contact, demands for immediate untraceable payment, and aggressive threats. Anything else?
Verifying their identity. A real authority figure will be able to give you their credentials and contact information, and they won't hesitate to let you verify it through official channels.
So if someone claiming to be from the IRS won't give me their badge number, or if they won't let me call them back on the official IRS number, that's a bad sign.
A very bad sign. A scammer's probably going to stumble when you start asking for details. Or they might give you fake info that you can easily disprove.
So if you're not sure, hang up and check everything through official channels.
Exactly. The more you know about the scam, the harder it is for them to trick you.
Okay, we've covered how the scam works and the warning signs. But this isn't just one scam, right? There are different versions of it.
You're right. It's like a chameleon changing its appearance to fit different situations.
So let's talk about those different variations. I bet tax season is a busy time for these scammers.
It is. A lot of people are worried about owing money to the IRS. And scammers take advantage of that. They pretend to be IRS agents, threatening audits and penalties and even arrest if you don't pay up.
It's awful how they prey on people like that.
Yeah, and they often target the most vulnerable people, like seniors or immigrants who maybe aren't as familiar with the legal system.
That's terrible. So we've got the tax scam. What else is there?
Sometimes they pretend to be law enforcement officers, saying there's a warrant out for your arrest or you missed jury duty, and now you have to pay a big fine.
Wow, pretending to be police officers, that's bold.
It is, but it shows how important it is to be aware of these tactics. Don't let respect for authority stop you from thinking critically.
So we've got the tax scam and the law enforcement scam. What else?
The debt collection scam. Now, even if you do have real debts, debt collectors have to follow the law. They can't harass you or threaten you or demand immediate payment in weird ways.
Right, so if they're demanding payment in gift cards or saying I'm going to jail, that's a scam. And I should just hang up and figure out how to handle the debt legally.
Exactly. You have rights, and real debt collectors have to respect those rights.
Okay, so we've got the tax scam, law enforcement, and debt collection. Any other versions?
The jury duty or warrant scam. They call and say, you missed jury duty, and now there's a warrant for your arrest. And to fix it, you have to pay a fine immediately, often using those same untraceable methods.
Wow, it's crazy how they can twist these normal things into scams.
It's all about using our fears against us. They know we don't want to get in trouble with the law.
So we've talked about how the scam works and the different types. Well, what can we actually do to protect ourselves?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll talk about in detail next time. Just remember, staying informed and vigilant is the best way to avoid becoming a victim.
I like the sound of that. Let's learn how to fight back. All right, so we've really dug into this pay up or be arrested scam, and it's pretty scary stuff. But now let's focus on how we can protect ourselves. How can we avoid becoming victims of this?
Well, the first thing is to stay calm. You know, scammers, they want you to panic. So if you get one of these calls or messages, just take a deep breath and remember that you're in control.
Like, don't let them get to you?
Exactly. Once you've calmed down, it's time to verify what they're saying. Never just take their word for it.
So like if someone says they're from the IRS, I should hang up and call the IRS myself using their real number.
Exactly. Always contact the agency directly. Don't use any numbers or websites they give you. Those could be fake.
Okay, verify, verify, verify. What else can we do?
Don't pay right away. Legitimate agencies will give you time to check things out, and they'll offer different payment options.
Is that going to force you to make a quick decision?
Right. And here's something you can say. I'm not discussing this over the phone. Please send me official documentation.
Oh, I like that.
It puts the ball in their court.
And it gives you time to think.
Exactly. And this might seem obvious, but it's important. Never give out your personal information over the phone or email, unless you're absolutely sure who you're talking to.
Right, our social security numbers and bank info, that's not something we should be sharing with just anyone.
Nope. Protect that information carefully.
It's scary to think how easily someone could steal your identity.
It is, and these scams are often the first step towards identity theft, so being careful is so important. And speaking of being careful, we can also use technology to help us.
Oh yeah, like how?
Use caller ID to screen your calls and block any numbers that look suspicious. There are also apps that can help filter out spam calls and potential scams.
Like a bodyguard for your phone.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about prevention. But what if, despite all that, you still get caught in a scam call?
Like what if you realize in the moment, oh no, this is a scam?
The best thing to do is just hang up. Or ignore the message. Don't argue, don't engage, just end the contact.
Just get out of there.
Exactly.
But what if you already gave them information? Or even worse, what if you already paid them?
Then it's really important to report it, even if you feel embarrassed.
So who do we call?
Well, if it was a tax-related scam, report it to the IRS directly. You can find their contact info on their website, irs.gov. For other types of scams, you can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, that's the FTC, and their website is reportfraud.ftc.gov.
Reportfraud.ftc.gov. Got it.
And don't forget to tell other people about your experience, even if it's uncomfortable. Telling friends and family, or even posting about it online. That can help raise awareness and protect other people.
Like a warning to everyone else.
Exactly. And one last thing. Even if you didn't fall for the scam, it's a good idea to check your bank accounts and credit card statements, just to make sure there aren't any unauthorized transactions.
Better safe than sorry.
Right. Staying vigilant is key. Scammers are always coming up with new tricks, so we have to stay informed.
So let's recap. What are the most important things to remember?
Remember, no real authority is going to demand immediate payment with gift cards or cryptocurrency, and they're not going to threaten you with arrest over the phone without giving you a chance to respond.
So if the demands seem strange or the threats are over the top, That's a bad sign.
Exactly. And never be afraid to just hang up. You have the right to protect yourself.
It's good to remember we have that power. We can say no, we can take the time to verify everything.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. And now you have the knowledge to protect yourself from this scam.
Okay, so we've covered how the scam works and how to stay safe. But now I'm wondering, why do these scams even work in the first place? They seem so obvious, but people still fall for them.
That's a great question. And it has to do with how our brains work. We'll talk more about that after the break.
Okay, so we've talked about how these scams work and how to protect ourselves. But I'm still kind of baffled. Like, why are these pay up or be arrested scams so effective? They seem so out there, but people still fall for them.
You know, it's really all about psychology. These scams, they're designed to take advantage of our weaknesses.
Oh, interesting.
Like, think about it. Most people don't like conflict, especially with authority figures.
Yeah, it's like that feeling you get when you see a cop car behind you. Even if you're doing nothing wrong, your heart starts racing.
Exactly. It's a natural instinct, that fear of getting in trouble. And scammers, they know how to use that fear.
So they make it seem like you're already in trouble
Right. And the only way out is to do what they say.
by paying up.
Exactly.
And they use that urgency too.
Absolutely. They create this sense of you have to act now,
Hmm.
which makes it even harder to think clearly.
So it's like they're overwhelming us with all these emotions: fear, urgency, confusion. And that's how they get us to do what they want.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. They often target people who are already vulnerable, like people who are struggling financially or dealing with health problems or just feeling stressed.
They're taking advantage of people who are already going through a tough time.
Right, because when we're stressed or anxious, it's harder to think rationally. We're more likely to make decisions based on emotion rather than logic.
So self-awareness is really important. Knowing our own weaknesses and how our emotions can affect our decisions.
Absolutely. The more we understand ourselves, the better we can protect ourselves from manipulation.
Like learning to recognize the warning signs.
Exactly.
And maybe even be a little skeptical. Like if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
I like that.
So we've talked about how the scam works, why it works, and what to do about it. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that knowledge is power.
I agree. The more we know about these scams, the less likely we are to become victims.
And the more we talk about it with others, the more people we can protect.
Exactly.
So let's wrap this up. We've done a deep dive into the pay up or be arrested scam. We've explored how it works, why it works, and how to stay safe.
Remember, no legitimate authority will ever demand immediate payment using those unusual methods. And they won't threaten you over the phone without giving you a chance to respond.
So if anything seems off, trust your gut. Hang up, verify, and report it.
Stay vigilant, stay
To
informed.
stay safe out there.